God creates everything by the word and the breath of his mouth. Comes into being everything. And everything conceals on God. Meaning, it's klipa, the shell that covers over. Metaphorically, the curtain, that the light of the sun is very powerful, but when you have a thick curtain, it hides that light, and we don't sense it in its connectivity to the sun. Metaphorically, we don't sense everything in creation, that it's naturally an extension, not even an extension, but only a reality of the word and the breath of God that gives it life, gives it vitality, gives it literally existence. Yet, there's still a distinction between something of a physical body of a living creature, right? The physicality of the living creature, that it is inanimate, like a stone of the earth, stone or earth. So, let's go with that. A stone, completely lifeless. The physicality of it, right? The ray of the divine creative power of God is so contracted that this thing is inanimate, seemingly lifeless. We don't sense it. It's even more reduced, its connection to the divine. So you have a curtain that the light that animates everything in this world is a light that's concealed. The shell that covers over everything of creation. But at the same time, not only do you have Hester, concealment, but you also have the contraction of the divine light. Metaphorically, we understand the distinction that something that is inanimate, how lifeless it is. Something that is vegetation is less contraction of the divine light, and hence this thing now called a tree is growing, or a flower, it's growing and blossoming. It's indicating that it has more life than the stone that doesn't grow. Now, in general, there are 4 categories of creation, and they are juxtaposed to the 4-letter name of God, Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, the Tetragrammaton. Change it. Hold on one moment, I'm going to get that. There it is. God's name, Tetragrammaton, Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, Shem Havaya, if you will. You have the Yud, the Hey, and the Vav, and the latter Hey. So, everything of the inanimate of this world is, primary source is the letter Hey. Vegetation, Vav. Animal, the former Hey. And human is the letter Yud. It's a lot that we can go into there, which we won't go right now. But the point is that shows on the contraction on the divine light. The more contraction that the divine light, the lesser is the light. Metaphorically, we have a curtain that conceals the divine light. But now contraction would be like putting up a board after that after the curtain, and in that board, you're making a hole. Well, if you make a hole this small, then what comes out is a great contraction. What comes out is, as it goes down from the letters, inanimate object called a stone. If the hole is a bit bigger, meaning that the light of God is more coming through, less of a contraction of the divine light, so then you're going to get vegetation. You're going to get your beautiful flowers for Shabbos. If the hole becomes even larger, then you're getting this letter Hey, because less of a contraction. The animal kingdom. And then finally, humans. The contraction is lesser as a result. All that we're using as a metaphor, even though that itself is an important understanding, but that's a metaphor. Because our discussion here in chapter 38 is kavana, intent, versus just do it. Just doing something is like the body of the deed that is like an inanimate object. A greater contraction of the divine light. Whereas if you do it with kavana, with intent, then the light isn't as contracted. There's more light coming through, and it's similar to the human or the animal, which has lesser contraction, and hence that's why the end result of the Word of God that creates it is a higher being, animal or human. So therefore, when we say a blessing or a prayer or say the Shema, and we do it with intent, meaning we're verbalizing, which is the body of the mitzvah. To verbalize the Shema, for example, Shema Yisrael, Shem Elokeinu Shem Echad, the verbalization. And together with it, we have the soul of it, which is the intent. That intent is now a greater light rather than a lesser light when you have no intent. And what is that in basic intent that you have when you are saying the Shema or praying to God? What's the intent? Simply that you want to attach yourself to God through this mitzvah, through this prayer, through this blessing, through the Shema, or whatever mitzvah it would be that you are engaged in. So we have concealment, contraction. The contraction here teaches us that there's greater and lesser light. The greater the contraction, the lesser of a being that's created, a stone. The greater, the lesser of the contraction, more light, greater being, ultimate human. That's all a metaphor. The more we are focused with intent, the more light that is illuminating our action, the greater vitality that comes into that action of the mitzvah. The more we just do it without kavanah, without intent, so it's like a body without a soul. There is an attachment to God nonetheless. That's the important thing to remember. You're still attached to God by putting on your tefillin and kind of doing it mindlessly, by giving charity mindlessly, without intent, without doing this to fulfill God's will, to attach ourselves to Him. But you give. Maybe to make you feel good, maybe to look good. Okay. There's still an attachment. But it's not illuminated. It's contracted, that light. As opposed to lesser contraction, greater light that illuminates the act. Greater soulfulness that infuses the body of the mitzvah. Powerful stuff. Any questions? Any comments? Any thoughts? Okay. Thank you, Clem, Joseph. The Crown Heights Shabbaton experience is Davida, can you put it up, the dates on Facebook right now, so I can just mention it? I forgot. In any case, if there'll be enough people that will go to New York, to Brooklyn, New York, it's in May. Begin, I don't know, second week in May or something. May 5th, May 7th. Friday till Sunday. People will go. I'll also go. And that way we can meet, which would be amazing. Okay? Be amazing. Jeff has a question. How does the tetragrammaton fit into the contraction again? Is it the metaphor or is it about the contraction? Well, Yud is Chochmah. Yud is the divine wisdom that is the vehicle through its bittels, self-abnegation, to the Ein Sof, the limitedness of God. So in the Yud, there's less of a contraction. But now to bring it down into Bina, Davida, find Shabbaton in the Heights .com / I think it's Chabad ZK. And see if that works, because then that's my link. So that way you'll become part of my group for those who want to go. See which one. I think it's Chabad ZK. Check it out. You're going to be there. Okay, Eugenia is going to be there. Okay. Where to stay, I can take arrangements for that, where to stay. Okay? So from Chachma, I'll, if you're interested, private message me, and we're going to start arranging it. I should have done it earlier, I'm sorry. So from the Chachma, you come to Bina, that's a contraction. From Bina, it contracts into emotions, further contraction, to bring the awareness of what you know and to bring it into the heart. That's a further contraction. And then from there to the latter hay, which is speech, action or speech, speaking the way it is in the person, that's a further contraction. So as you go down, there's a greater contraction. That's how it's understood. I hope that was clear. Okay, there's a question on Instagram. How the two letters of Hey are compared on the Tetragrammaton. So there's a higher level Hey, which is Bina, and the lower level, which is Malchus. So it's a contraction. These are the 10 divine attributes in here. Chachma, Bina, Bina that leads to Das, and the 6 emotions, and then Malchus. So you have the 10 over here, and each one is a come down on the light, right? A contraction on the divine light. Okay. Leah, that would be amazing if you can come. Eugenia, you're already part. Okay, that's amazing. Okay, I hope that was clear. Beautiful. Okay. Thank you, Raz. I don't know if I got that right, but thank you for joining. All right, folks. Rambam is coming up. And, tonight, 6:30, don't miss Torah studies. And 8 o'clock is TRC, Tanya Rabbi Community. We have an amazing group that come and share, and it's beautiful. Amazing. Please join us. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zuch in Kadesh, Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege, a pleasure to share with you, Tanya. Have an amazing day. Thank you for joining. Good Tavach.